second segment, as long as everyone's already out back. This is Grafton County Commissioner District 3, correct? Okay. And again, this is a 2-year term, right? Okay. And there are in Grafton County. Yes. I'm being very careful because I screwed up the last one.
That's okay.
And you're both running for District 2, which is 3?
District 3.
Oh, geez.
District 3.
See? I messed up my numbers. And you have how many towns?
About 15.
Okay.
15 towns.
17. Okay.
Somewhere near.
Excellent. 17.
That's what
That's what I have on my list, so I don't know. So I have Alexandria, Ashland, Bridgewater, Bristol, Campton, Canaan, Dorchester, Ellsworth, Grafton, Groton, Hebron, Holderness, Orange, Plymouth, Rumney, Warren, Wentworth.
That sounds about
Did I
right.
miss any?
It's pretty good.
We'll find out later. Someone's
Yeah,
going to
someone will
tweet
call
it,
in.
right? Okay, so again, I'm Sarah Holland, and I'm the current Plymouth Rotary President, and I'm the moderator this evening. We have Omer Ahern Jr., who is the incumbent candidate for the Grafton County Commissioner District 3, and Marsha Morris. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
All right. So we are going to start with opening remarks. It's going to be 1.5 minutes to each of you, and we have Valerie over there with her wand. She's going to keep you on time, and we're going to start with Omer.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Omer Ahern Jr., and I am presently serving as the District 3 Grafton County Commissioner. I come to my service as the County Commissioner basically having lived and worked in a county environment here in New Hampshire since my mom and dad, Omer and Rosa Ahern, were the co-administrators of the Sullivan County Nursing Home down in Unity. My dad was also the county jailer, and my dad was also the farm and woodlands manager. And growing up under the training of my mom and dad, I get to hear them talk an awful lot about what county government does and how important it is to the people. And with my training as an attorney, as a family law lawyer, as a estate planning attorney, and as a real estate attorney, all of these things have given me the experience to do the job that needs to be done here in Grafton County. I believe that over the last 30 or so years, the county commissioners in Grafton County have failed to manage the county operations properly, therefore causing very high increases in taxes to the taxpayers. So I've been working to find ways to bring in more money to the county, save money to the county taxpayers, and still provide that outstanding nursing home care that we provide, and to provide the care at the House of Correction for the inmates that are sentenced by our courts. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Morris?
My name is Marsha Morris, and I think a lot of people know me as a journalist. I was the local newspaper editor and a political reporter for about the 17 towns that comprise the District 3 for Grafton County Commissioner. So I know those towns well and the people in them, and I love them. But what a lot of people don't know about me is what I did before I came to New Hampshire, which was a professional training in political science. So I studied negotiation, decision theory, comparative policy analysis at the very highest levels. And my expertise is in mediation and conflict resolution. I have a certificate of community mediator certificate from Harvard Law School mediation program. And so not only did I study conflict resolution in political processes, but I actually learned how to do it. And it's very different, but it's very important to know how to do both things. And I think those skills of being able to bring people together at a table with the difference of opinion and build consensus across a conflict line, we need more of that in our political process. So that's one of the reasons why I'm running, and I hope those skills are useful in this particular capacity.
Excellent. Thank you both. All right. So I'm going to throw out your icebreaker question for this segment, and we're going to start with you, Candidate Morse. If you could have one talent that you do not currently possess, what would it be?
immediately it just pops into my, I just have to say it, I wish I could sing. I think other people who have lived around me wish I could sing too. I just can't, and it's just really important to have a mode of expression that you can enjoy. It's just not something that's ever going to happen in my life, so music.
Thank you. And Omer.
I wish I could do more with technology. I'm a Luddite, and it's not a religion. It's someone who has a hard time with technology. I'm a tree farmer. I have a certified tree farm here in Plymouth. It's been part of the Ahern, or been in the Ahern family since 1897. And you know, my favorite tool is a chainsaw. And but in this age of computers and cell phones and Twitters and things, you know, I'm at a loss when it comes to those things. But I do like paper, as you can see. I have paper with me, and that's what I rely on a lot. And that's what I wish I had a little bit more talent in, is dealing with technology and being able to use technology more effectively.
Excellent. Thank you both. All right, we're going to jump in with question 1, and this is going to go to you, candidate Ahern. Why are you running, and how would you do things differently than your opponent?
I am running because, as an attorney, dealing with business people and dealing with families that have to pay a lot in taxes, I'm trying to find an area where, in public service, where I can use the talents and the learning from my mom and dad and my law experience to work in county government to reduce the cost of county government. One of the issues that I've seen coming, and this is my second term as the Grafton County Commissioner, is basically county government in New Hampshire is for 2 major purposes. Number 1, providing a nursing home for our elderly, and number 2, to provide correctional facility, the pretrial confinement in the jail and the house of correction for those who are sentenced. And we also have a farm. And historically, the farm is what fed the people in the nursing home and fed the people in the Department of Corrections. The farm has not been utilized as a resource to help to pay for the cost. For example, we have about a $210,000 food budget at the House of Correction. And if we were doing more with the farm, we could significantly reduce that cost. And I'm constantly looking for ways in order to reduce the cost of county government and to save taxpayer dollars and still provide the services that we need to provide. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Morris?
Why am I running? Well, the first reason is to give you a choice. It's important when you get to the poll that you get to have a choice. And I think we have enough differences between us that you will have that. That's important. I'm running because I think county government is really important. It flies under the radar a lot because it is the smallest portion of our tax bills. And so people don't pay attention the way Omer does. But it's very important. The correctional facility is incredibly important. The nursing home is very important. It's where we take care of the people who are the most vulnerable in our county, and they matter a great deal to me. So county government is actually fascinating. I love it. If you look across the United States, much of the innovation that comes in terms of dealing with some of the crises that we're facing come at the county government level, and nobody's paying attention, but I'm paying attention. And I think it's an innovative sector. I also have a tremendous amount of respect for the people who have been running the facility up there for the last many years. So I feel like it's really important for us to support them, and that is another thing that I really want to do. So I think, did I answer?
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Yes, would you like to rebut?
There's a difference between the management style of the county commissioners and the folks that are on the front lines there. And it's up to the commissioners to set the policies. Unfortunately, there's a lot of policies up there that aren't even in writing. So our employees don't know what the policies are, and that creates some issues. I just feel that the county commissioners have to do a better job of setting the agenda, managing and doing what needs to be done so that the employees, the department heads, know what it is that's expected of them. So that when a budget is going to be prepared, the department heads need to be told, we want to have a level budget. Not we're going to live with a 5 or 6% increase in taxes. No, I'm not. That's not fair to the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to question 2. What political issues have you each been working on in the last 2 years? And Commissioner, Candidate Morris, we'll start with you.
Okay. I'm going to start by saying that I haven't been political enough in the last 2 years, which is another reason why I'm running. The issue that is foremost in my mind and in my heart is what we're calling the opioid crisis, but which I think here in New Hampshire really is a community mental health care crisis and an addictions crisis. So I have spent an awful lot of time not being political, trying to gather my own resources and the resources of other people in the community to address some of this issue and the needs of the kids who are literally dying in the streets. They are detoxing in cars in the Walmart parking lot. They are really suffering, and not only the kids are suffering, but their families are suffering. So I've spent an awful lot of time taking kids to emergency rooms, bringing them to court, make sure they show up, doing anything I could think of. And what I realize is this is a huge problem, bigger than any one of us, groups of us. This is a generational problem that we're facing. And the county, I want you to know, is pretty much been on the forefront at the jail, at the correctional facility, in the alternate sentencing program with community corrections. They are doing the things that are actually making a difference. So if a parent comes to me and says, oh no, my child has just been arrested, I feel terrible, part of me says, I'm not so sure that's the worst thing that could happen to them in New Hampshire at this time. There's a lot of good work being done at the county level, and I want to continue to support it and expand that work.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Aaron?
Politics is not what I'm doing. Public service is what I'm doing. And the things that Marcia has just talked about, yes, I've been involved with that, making sure that these things happen. We have a new program at the Department of Corrections called the FIRM, program FIRM, and that is to work with new inmates, those who have been charged with issues that are substance abuse related. These are the things that, yes, this is what county government should be doing. But there's a whole host of other things that seems to be distracting to the county commissioners over the years. Statutorily, what I can see, the main thing that we should be doing in county government is the nursing home, providing that care for our elderly, and providing for the needs of those people that get involved with the law through the Department of Corrections. And part of my job is how do we make the funds that are going to be available? If we're wasting money, if we're not making use of the resources that we have, then we need to develop policies and do the things that need to be done. And that's what I've been trying to do in trying to bring the farm up and provide more food for the House of Correction, to bring in new enterprises, agriculture. For example, the dairy beef cow operation. We have the UNH Cooperative Extension folks up there that can give us some good ideas on how we can make better use of the farm resources that we have up there.
Good job, Omer. Just staying on time, but that's a good lead-in for our next question, and that will go to you first, and that's what changes would you propose to the county budget?
We have to, the commissioners at the beginning have to tell the department heads that we want to have a level funded or reduced tax burden on our taxpayers. And then we can, I believe we can rely on these department heads to do that. If you look at last year's budget, there was a lot of extra money that wasn't spent. And so it's incumbent upon the commissioners to set the parameters for the budget. And again, there's other things that the county can do to provide the resources. For example, when I was a county commissioner back in 2011, 2012, we were talking about what could we do with the old correctional facility. And 4/5 of that old correctional facility was built in 1984 and 1985. And yet, when the new facility was built, after I left office, the commissioners ripped down the existing structure. And that could have been used for homeless shelters. That could have been used for veterans to give them a place to stay. It could have been used for storage. We don't have enough storage up there in Grafton County. And yet, this beautiful building, yes, it was maybe not perfect for a correctional facility, but it was useful space that we are now needing. The Register of Deeds says she needs more space to store the records. And yet, this building, which was available, is now gone. That's wrong. That's a waste of the taxpayers' dollars. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Morris?
What I would change about the budget. Well, on the revenue side, we currently have excess capacity at the correctional facility. So we have beds going that are vacant. And I know that the current superintendent has done a lot of work to try to see if there isn't some way that we can lease those beds out and bring in some income. And I think I would really like to continue to follow that line of inquiry, because it could possibly pay for some of the programs at the facility that we would like to have. Also, we're getting to the end of the bond on the jail, believe it or not. It hardly seems possible. But that opens up the possibility that we could create a capital investment fund so that we can start looking at what is going to need to happen at the nursing home as we go forward, and plan for that in a very rational way so that the tax rate doesn't go up and down and up and down, it just is stable. So those two things are very important. The other thing that I just want to say is that it would be really wonderful if it would be possible for us to hire a full-time dedicated psychiatrist for the jail and the nursing home. I don't know if that's entirely possible, but boy, would that make our programs a lot more effective. And I think, I've talked to some of the folks up there about that, and they agree, the people on the front line, that that would just really be very helpful. So that's a thing I might want to add to the budget. Sorry.
Well, we're getting ready to interview a new alternative sentencing director, and I'll be involved in that interview process. But Marcia, we have been working to try to get other inmates to come in. And there are 2 other counties that have the federal contract to have the federal inmates. And we asked Superintendent Elliott to go to the state of Vermont and find out, because they had an inmate in Pennsylvania who died over there. And the state of Vermont was putting out a request for proposals for, the commissioners asked the Department of Corrections to look into that. And it just wasn't something that was feasible. So we have definitely been looking at all of those options.
We'll keep doing it.
We have.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Yes, we are. And it's a matter of the commissioners at some point saying, we will do this. And this is part of the job of the county commissioners, is to be effective managers. And that hasn't been happening. And when you're on the short end of all the 2-to-1 votes, it makes it tough. And I'm on the short end of all the 2-to-1 votes.
Thank you both. That's great dialogue. We're at the end of our time here. So I'd like to start with you, Candidate Morris, and if you would offer up some closing statements.
One of the things that I want to remind folks out there is that I think it's true that when you get your ballot, our position is going to be the very last thing that you vote for. And it's not because it's not that it's the least important. It's very important. And so I just want to remind people that we're there, and remember that it's very important. Your county government really is very important. And also, I think that I would hope that if I were to be so honored and fortunate as to be elected, that I would really like to keep line of communications open, so that people feel like they really know what's happening on the county level, more than I think they do now. The question I keep getting on the campaign trail when I'm knocking on doors and somebody answers and I say, "Hi, I'm Marcia, I'm running for county commissioner," they say, "What?" Almost always, "What's a county commissioner?" So that's an issue I'd like to address.
Excellent. Thank you. Commissioner Ahern.
Well, that's an issue that I did address. When I became a county commissioner January of 2017, I asked the board, we need to get our commissioner meetings on the technology here. We need to get our commissioner meetings on the public waves. And for whatever reason, the decision wasn't made. So I worked with PBTV, and what you folks need to do, you need to see Omer Ahern giving his report every 2 weeks through the good auspices of the PBTV, and you need to go to just, J-U-S-T, Omer, O-M-E-R. And if you go to YouTube and you type in just Omer, you're going to see me making these every 2-week reports on what's going on in the Grafton County government. So I recognize that as an issue right off. And unfortunately, the other two commissioners didn't feel it was as important to make sure that we had this information getting out to the people. Mm-hmm. And so I bring my vast experience in county government, and I want to continue to serve the people of Grafton County, to try to save them money, and I need your vote. I like Marcia. Marcia and I are good friends, and she's a very nice lady, but I'm the one with the experience and I know what the questions are that need to be asked. I'm not going to vote on anything if I haven't seen a report, something in writing. I'm not going to vote on something that's handed to me on a Tuesday morning and say, here, you need to approve this. If I haven't read it, I'm not going to approve it, because that's not the way to do things. Thank you very much. Vote for Omer. Hit a homer. Vote for Omer.
Oh, I can't beat the slogan. It's just not.
It's pretty good. Okay.
What can I do?
Thank you.
Thank you to Commissioner Ahern and candidate Morris for being with us tonight and sharing their passion for serving the communities of New Hampshire. And if you'd like to view this segment afterwards, please go to YouTube, Pemmy Baker Television. You'll be able to see it there, as well as on Pemmy Baker Television. They'll be replaying it up until the time of the election, which is Tuesday, November 6th, only 12 days away. So stay tuned. We have New Hampshire representatives from District 8 coming up shortly. Thank you.